Hi everyone, welcome to Storytime Wednesday, presented by Pasco County Libraries. My name is Mr. Charlie. I'm from the Hugh Embry Library in Dade City. I'm pretty new to the library, but if you attended any of our summer reading Zoom sessions, you may remember me. I'm looking forward to reading you a story and sharing a couple of cool crafts with you today. But before we do that, let's sing our welcome song. Hi, hello, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hi, hello, and how are you? How are you today? Well, now that we've gotten our introductions out of the way, why don't we jump right into our story? Today we're going to be reading a really silly story called You Must Bring a Hat by Simon Phillip and Kate Hindley. You Must Bring a Hat was published by Sterling Children's Books. I received an invitation to a party. You are cordially invited to the biggest, bestest, hattiest party of all time. Starts at 5:30 p.m. Wide Brim House, 32 Panama Avenue, West Trilby. You may bring as many extra guests as you wish, but you must bring a hat. Kindest regards. Nigel, host and fanciest hat judge. P.S. Seriously, don't forget the hat. The party depends on it. P.P.S. Try not to be late this time. I immediately panicked. I didn't own a hat, and the invitation specifically stated that I must bring a hat. The party depended on it. I searched everywhere for a hat, but the only hat I could find belonged to a monkey. That's a lovely hat. May I borrow it, please? No. I really need a hat for a party. I'll give it back. Since he wouldn't negotiate, I was left with no choice. At least I had a hat, even if it was still attached to a monkey. But on arrival, the security was pretty tight. Invitation, please, said the doorman. Apparently there were other rules, too. Sorry, sir, but we're under strict instructions not to let in any hat-wearing monkeys, unless they're also wearing a monocle. Luckily, we soon bumped into a badger named Jeff. He was just the sort of badger we required. I do beg your pardon, chaps, but are you, by any chance, after a monocle? Indeed we are. We need it for a party. I will lend this monkey my monocle on the condition that I may accompany you to your shindig. Invitation, please, the doorman said again. Sorry, sir, but we're under strict instructions not to let in any hat and monocle-wearing monkeys if they are accompanied by a badger named Jeff, unless Jeff can play the piano. Can you play the piano? I asked. Don't insult me. I'm a badger. Of course I can. Jeff can play, I said firmly. I'm afraid we need to see that, the doorman replied. Jeff was great on the piano, but we still had a problem. Sorry, sir, but we can't let this piano-lending elephant in. He's not wearing a tutu. Just my luck. There's never a tutu around when you need one. We solved that problem surprisingly quickly. Surely now we'd be allowed in. But we'd failed to notice a sign. Under no circumstances is a tutu to be worn without the supervision of an accompanying penguin. Ah. Martin kindly helped us out, and as he was a very clever penguin, we were already prepared for the next rule. All penguins accompanying pink tutu-wearing elephants must bring with them a suitcase full of cheese. But it turned out the cheese needed to be sliced, and none of us had thought to bring a knife. And that was when I'd had enough. Look, these are the silliest rules I've ever heard. Nigel clearly stated on his invitation that I could bring anyone I wanted so long as I brought a hat. And I brought a monkey in a hat, so technically I brought a hat and... Nigel, said the doorman. Who's Nigel? This is Felicity's party. This isn't number 32? Next door. Oops. Still, Nigel's party was worth the hassle, even if we were a little late. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that story. I'm glad that our main character was finally able to make it to Nigel's birthday party. He may have been a little late, but he did end up bringing a lot of new friends to the party. Alright, and with that, I think it's time to start our crafts. This week we have a 2-for-1 craft. We're going to be doing paper hats 2 ways. First way is really quick and simple. It's great if you have a hat party to get to and you're in a hurry.
Alright, this craft is super simple. All you need is one sheet of newspaper and a pair of scissors. To get started, go ahead and fold your sheet of newspaper in half once from top to bottom. Next, you're going to fold it again along a line from side to side. This will leave you with kind of a square shape, but you'll notice that one side is a little bit shorter than the other. So we're going to have to do a little bit of trimming, and you're going to cut about an inch from the bottom of the shorter piece, but make sure you cut through both sides. Alright, unfold your newspaper. You'll have 3 open sides and a closed side. Keep the closed side up at the top. Now take the top 2 corners and fold them in along that middle crease. This will give you 2 triangles and a rectangular piece at the bottom. So go ahead and take one of those rectangular flaps and fold it up over the triangles. Now you flip the whole hat over. Now you'll fold in the sides, and this is what's going to make your hat fit your head a little bit better. So I have a kind of big head, so I'm only folding mine in a little bit. If you have a smaller head, go ahead and fold them in a bit more. Alright, and the last step is to fold that last rectangular flap up. And you've just made a hat out of newspaper.
And voila! Here's the completed newspaper hat. So let's give this one a try, see how it looks on. Alright, came out pretty good. So this is a classic craft. This has been around forever, even since I was a little kid. There are many ways to fold a newspaper hat though, so you can play around with it at home if you don't like this style. There's plenty of other ways to do it. Alright, and with the newspaper hat done, let's get into our second craft.
Okay, our second hat craft is a little bit more complex than the first one, but doesn't require too many items. So you will need a pair of scissors, multicolored construction paper, glue, and pom-poms, and anything else you'd like to decorate with. You can also use a ruler if you'd like. You don't have to, these measurements don't have to be too precise, but you will see me using one just to make sure mine comes out looking pretty nice. Okay, our first step is going to be to make a long strip of paper that we can use as a headband. You want this to be about as wide as your forehead and as long as it takes to go all the way around your head. So for me, that was 3 strips cut out of a regular piece of construction paper, but for you, if your head is a different size than me, it might vary. Alright, our next step is where things get colorful. So I'm using 3 different colors of construction paper. We're cutting out more strips, but then we will eventually cut out a triangular shape on them. These will be the panels of our jester hat. So go ahead and cut the strips out. Alright, I recommend drawing a line where the where that headband ends on your strip, and starting your triangular shape there, so then you have this big rectangular base to glue onto your headband. Alright, then take all of your triangles and roll them down a little bit to make sure that they curl out. Next, glue them to your headband. And with the triangles glued on, the next step is to decorate and gluing on pom-poms, but you can do anything else to your hat that you'd like to do. And the final step is to glue the ends of the headband together to complete your jester's hat.
And this is the completed jester's hat. I gotta say, this thing came out looking pretty great, so let me go ahead and give this a try. Alright, Yes, looking quite gesterly if I do say so myself. So, whichever hat you preferred, I hope you gave one, if not both of them, a try at home. And with that, I think that's just about all the time we have for this week. So why don't we say goodbye, why don't we sing our goodbye song, and we'll see you next time.
We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye to all our friends. We wave goodbye like this.